Why are you even doing this? The Sybaris Prime? In 2023? Who even cares? And to answer that, I would say, well, mostly nobody, but I can, and I shall.
This will help our cause. When you need it.
Today we're going to be revisiting one of my favorite old school style of weapons, the Sybaris Prime. As per the usual, I'm gonna give it the royal treatment. An introductory level setup, but fear not my veteran friends, I'm also gonna be pushing this one as far as it can go with a couple of endgame builds. We're gonna go higher and higher with more powerful mods, a Riven, Warframe synergies, etc. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around. As always, my name is Leyzar, and this is the Sybaris Prime. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and for that, just a couple of our regular free shots. The Sybaris Prime is your regular burst rifle, and it's very similar to the Dex Sybaris. You point, hits can attack, a bit of recoil, and the weapon will be discharging 2 bullets from the magazine in rapid succession. Now you see, because of that climbing recoil, one bullet lands in one place and the other a bit higher, so that's something to take into account, especially if you're gonna be going for headshots. The accuracy of the weapon is good, but you need to take care of that recoil. The reload is on the quick side, but unfortunately only 20 magazine capacity, which translates into 10 shots. Now, let's have a closer look at stats to see exactly what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is gonna be 60 out of 60. As soon as you get to your Sybaris Prime, it should come with 30 out of 30 unless you got it from an event. In that case, there's a good chance that the akin catalyst is already installed. If you want to double the mod capacity, definitely install the akin catalyst. This is not a top tier weapon by any stretch of the imagination, it's just a fun, quirky, old school kind of weapon. Your akin catalyst, however, will not be enough. You're also gonna have to format the weapon a couple of times depending on the mods that you have. For an introductory level build, free format is more than plenty. For an endgame build, 5 to 6 is gonna be the way to go, especially if you have Rivens, galvanized mods, prime mods, etc. As for the XL slot, I would argue that for this one, it's nigh on mandatory to go with stabilizer and minus 60% weapon recoil. We fire 2 little bullets without taking into account multi-shot, and if those don't land on a headshot, then well, your damage is gonna be suffering. Take a look at that now. Significantly better than what it was before, so having that minus recoil in the XL slot from my point of view is 100% mandatory. But if you don't like aiming, then well, I guess you shouldn't be building this weapon to begin with. I got another fantastic weapon for you around mastery rank 7 to 8. Link in the cards right now for that one. Accuracy 25, ammo max 540, which is more than plenty, ammo pickup at 80, which is humongous. I love how the balanced ammo that weapons that don't use a whole lot of ammo are getting tons of ammo. Isn't that fantastic? Fire rate of 3.43, magazine of 20, but effectively 10 shots. Noise alarming reload on 2 seconds, which is a bit on the lengthy side for just 10 shots. Riven disposition 4 out of 5. Rivens are 100% worth it for this weapon, and it's a way to actually make it somewhat viable. Trigger burst, as you saw, critical chance is good at 30%, critical multiplier is decent at 2x, and that status chance 25%. Now you are firing 2 bullets in rapid succession, and that's a very big deal because it means that the status chance does not get divided among those bullets. For example, for pellet-based weapons or shotguns, your status chance will be getting divided among the pellets. So if you see a status chance like 160% or something silly like that, you gotta look at the status chance per projectile in the case of pellet-based weapons. There is one outliner, however, that fires its hit scan bullets at the same time but does not have the status chance divided, and that's the Quartak. You see, the Quartak has 4 barrels and it fires at the same time, so bear that one in mind. I know it's not really relevant, but I thought it was a cool little Warframe fact. Damage, impact, puncture, slash, 29 across the board, except slash that has a minor advantage, nothing you should concern yourself with. Now, let's have a look at a standard build. Damage duration, multi-shot, split chamber, and vigilante armaments as your flex slot, critical chance and critical damage reducer, critical delay, and vital sense. Slashes are going to be coming from hunter munitions and a little bit from the weapon, and we also made vital on the weapon between rhyme rounds and malignant force. And you might be curious, listen Leyzar, why is this combination so powerful? I've seen it on so many builds in one way or another. To get into that would be about a 5 to 10 minute discussion for me to explain to you all the mechanics and how things actually work in Warframe. I got a video dedicated to hunter munitions that goes through everything that you need to know. Link in the cards right now for that one. For the time being, you're getting slashes, most of them from hunter munitions, vital from the 260/60 mods, and that's what's gonna kill your target. We're gonna be spawning in level 120 corrupted heavy goons without the steel path modifiers enabled. This is an introductory level setup for something like mastery rank 10, 12, 15, 10 or something of the sort. If you're gonna go the sortie free, you're not gonna see this level of enemies unless of course you plan on staying there a bit longer. Of course you can, to the free shot, kill a high level target. 12.4k bleed on that target from a single slash, augmented further by the viral slash, or was it 2 slashes and a single viral? The value of your slash is gonna be dependent on how many viral applications you have on your target, so putting in multiple shots like that is definitely advantageous. More advanced gameplay, let's call it advanced gameplay, is to use a secondary weapon or another means of applying viral to your target and then something else to apply the slash. In essence, what we're after is the combination of viral and slash, or viral and heat, or something of the sort. We need that viral on that target because it makes the target take so much more damage. That's gonna be an easy one shot from the free slashes and the 2 virals. And this concludes the new player part of the build. If you're just starting out, if you came across the Sybaris Prime and you thought, hey, that's a cool weapon, I wanna build it, use this build as a jumping off point. A jumping off point to what exactly? Well, if you got more advanced mods, if you got all the resources, then you're looking at something like this. But I'm gonna be calling this a base advanced build. Does that make sense? Because from this we can evolve the build further. For the time being, let's have a quick look. Galvanized Aptitude works a treat on this one. Galvanized Chamber instead of the normal version. In the arcane slot we also got primary. Ooh, that's for later. That's for later. The base build is with primary mercilets. That's gonna be adding a whole lot of flat damage and 30% reload, which, let's be honest, the weapon does need at that 2-second base reload, bringing it down to 1.5. This is a more advanced setup. Let's see the difference in actual performance. And before I enable steel path modifiers and increase the level of the enemies, I want you to see the apples to apples comparison on the exact same target. Though one thing, keep in mind, this being a galvanized setup, we got arcane, we got galvanized mods, you're gonna have to get a couple of kills in order to see the weapon in full swing. I already got like 3 or 4 stacks, I'm not fully stacked out, and you can see a very clear difference in performance. So as you can see, my friends, having the right mods and having the right knowledge makes a huge difference. That was over 70,000 bleed value on that target. Absolutely insane considering the values we were gotten earlier. That's a 44,000. Essentially the targets disappear, get absolutely shredded from a single shot. Look at this, beautiful, fantastic. Now you will have some cases as this one. I got 4 procs on my target from that burst, but unfortunately none of them triggered slash. So consistency, while it is good on the weapon with the current build, sometimes you do get outliners like that. Look at that, that was over 120,000 bleed value on that target, 80% plus 43%. Now let's see what happens if I just enable the steel path modifiers. I'm gonna keep the 120s, I'm just gonna turn on the steel path modifiers and respawn these targets. And as before, this being a galvanized setup, I'm gonna have to get a couple of kills. Look at that, 11 slashes and 10 virals. It's pointless to go over 10 virals in the sense that you can't go over 10 virals. But as you can see, I'm still trashing these targets with a couple of shots because the weapon is capable of that kind of damage. Now I think I got 3 stacks, so what is that? 3 stacks of the arcane, no problem. 2 shots on the target, I got myself the procs. I'm gonna be able to destroy these 120 corrupted heavy goons with the steel path modifiers enabled. Now it's clear to see that they are a bit tougher, significantly more tougher, because the steel path modifiers are no joke. But if I want to make things as tough as I can right now, I'm also gonna be pumping up the level as well. 165 corrupted heavy goons with the steel path modifiers with essentially everything. Go for headshots as per usual. It is vital for any critical weapon to go for headshots as long as that critical weapon has the headshot multiplier enabled. Having the headshot multiplier enabled will be making a tremendous difference in terms of damage. Only a few weapons in Warframe do not have that headshot multiplier, and explosions don't get headshot multiplier either. There's a bit more to talk about critical chance and critical multipliers, and if you're not fully familiar with them at this point, I got a nifty guide for you fantastic people. Look at the cards right now. But back to shooting stuff. There we go, give me the stacks, give me the stackage, give me the stackage. Beautiful, look at that. Absolutely annihilating these targets. If I get just a tiny bit lucky with the procs, no problem, and absolutely wrecking house. 2 shots on that target, 5 slashes, 3 virals, absolute annihilation. Look at this, 6 slashes, no viral. It's gonna come down to the wire. Will I kill the target? No. didn't kill the target because I didn't get a single goddamn vital proc. So you see, weapons sometimes, even with a good status chance as this one, can be a bit unreliable, which is another reason why some players rely on outside sources to apply vital, like a secondary primer or perhaps a Panzervoll Pfeiler, and in more recent times we are using Grendel's Nourish a whole lot because that one is definitely effective. Now let's say that you're not happy with this level of performance. Listen man, I love the Sybaris, but I want even more out of it. Obviously the next step is to go to a Riven mod. So let's throw a couple of things around. Take off aptitude, go like so, and we got ourselves a Satacron critical chance and multi-shot. Now my critical chance goes over 100%. So I'm gonna be getting a bit more slashes, the weapon becomes a bit more reliable. On the other hand, I did renounce some status chance, that means the vital is gonna be going down. We're gonna be testing the weapon out like so. And then there's one last build which I want to show you when we push synergies and try to get outside help to get the most we can out of the weapon. But until then, here's what a Riven can do. I love the crits which are over yellow. Yellow, everybody has yellow, but going to orange or red, that is absolutely fantastic. You can go to red without hitting the 200% mark on this one if you want to go for Vigilante armaments. I know a lot of you guys are not fan of faction mods, and we are using Prime Bane of the Grenier instead of Prime Bane of the Grenier. You can use a multi-shot mod, something like Vigilante armaments, or you can use flat damage from Serration, or you can go for even more critical damage. All of these are viable options, but I'm trying to give this weapon the best chance it has at winning. And if you want the most amount of damage out of your weapons, you try to access all of the multipliers. All of the damage multipliers, and the faction multiplier is a separate damage multiplier that applies twice the damage over time effect. So bear that one in mind. Again, more details in that Hunter Munitions guide. Single shot on that target, you got yourself your 4 slashes, you got a vital application, and the target gets absolutely melted. Now, let's try to push things even further, but in order for me to show you that build, I'm gonna have to reformat a bit. It fits, everything fits, so for this build, you're gonna have to form up every slot. There is that to bear in mind. Of course, provided you have a Riven. Essentially, what we're going to be doing now is going for primary Frostbite. We're not going to be getting vital from the weapon. We're going to be using Grendel's Nourish. We got Prime Cryo on this one, together with Galvanized Aptitude, Chamber, a Riven, and let's see how she handles. I wonder how hard it'll be to actually stack Frostbite. Oh wow, it's already at 12. It's not so bad. Look at that. 26. If I just open up, one of my main concerns with this was how hard will it be for me to actually keep Frostbite up. But I'm already at 40, and this is no vital, by the way. I am shooting my targets right now with no vital. All right, it's vital time. Oh wow, nice one. A single shot in that target, absolutely annihilated. Beautiful, beautiful. Take a look at that. Yes, yes, the build does work, my friends. Fantastic. But of course, shooting standing still targets isn't really something all that challenging, so let's head on over to the Path of Steel. You point, you shoot, and it dies. Fan-freaking-tastic. My problem is I'm not gonna have the KPS. Look at that. Oh, by the way, I'm using the Sentinel with me as well, and he's giving me that chance to enhance critical hits, which is why you're seeing some red crits on my target. Beautiful, fantastic. You know what I could use? Punch Through. But unfortunately, there is no more bloody room on the build because I can get these guys all clumped up, either in a line or use some sort of clump up ability, and absolutely annihilate them with a bit of punch through, but I don't have any more room on the build. Now, my friends, it's time to draw some conclusions on the Sybaris Prime. Is it worth it? Putting in 6-7 forma, getting a Riven, and going through all of this trouble for this level of performance? Of course not, don't be silly. The weapon is outdated, outgunned, outmatched by a whole lot of other weapons around the same mastery point. So what's the point of all of this? Why even do it? Because we love it. Because we're Warframe players, because this is what we enjoy doing, and because there are plenty of players out there that still enjoy the Sybaris Prime gameplay experience. I just wished I had a bit more punch-through on this one. Warframe is not just about, hey, what is the best this and what is the best that. This is not a competitive game. This is strictly meant to be a fun PvE experience. And if going for the Sybaris Prime is your cup of tea, my hat to you. You can make it work.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Na 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 na. It was Malice. Wait!
The bubble! Ha ha! You never get me, Santa Claus! I think he's there. Is that there? Is there, right? Stand still. I can't hit moving targets. Stand the hell still. There you go. That's the damage. Sybaris Prime, baby! Taking out wait. Almost taking out hold up. I got you. I got him. I got him, boys. I got him. Easy peasy. And that's pretty much gonna do it. What can I tell you? The Sybaris Prime in 2023 is an outdated weapon, something that you should have been aware of. It doesn't mean you can't make it work. Sure, you can make a paper bag work. For what it's worth, I am enjoying my time with the weapon. While the Sybaris Prime may not be one of the top 10 primary weapons in the game, you might be interested, okay? What are the top 10 primary weapons in Warframe? Ah, I'm glad you asked. Look at the cards right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and enable notifications for more. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.